You are not your story. You are not who you think you are. You are not your thoughts. You are not your body. You are not your experiences, good or bad. You are not what happens to you. And you are not how people treat you. I think you can meet me now, right? The list is endless, literally. But I tell you something, even if I'm over than 20 years now in the personal development space professionally as a coach, and since 15 years dedicated to the topic to be conscious with me and to expand awareness, I obviously do the human experience exactly as you do too. Because we all are human, but we really must understand, in my opinion, and I want to invite you to think and contemplate about that because it is very relieving. We must understand that we are not this human being. We are this immortal soul coming literally to this 3D earth to experience through this body, through this parents, through this childhood, through this adulthood, and all the things we create, so that we can perceive more as a soul. Because the soul does not have a body. The soul is immortal, yes, but it does not have the possibility to feel these feelings as we are able here as a human being. And these are feelings good or bad. The soul is not judging about that. The soul is just having the experience. And believe me or not, you don't have to believe me anything, you know me, but it enjoys everything, the good and the bad. As soon as we label good or bad, we are judging. But we can literally learn to see it really from the point of view of our soul, because the soul is just aware about, oh, it's feeling good or it's feeling like that or something else without judging. It can literally learn through our human body to express what it means. And as we realize here, doing this experience as a human on this world, we developed languages, we developed names for everything. We also developed names for emotions and feelings, and also for what we perceive as good, as not so good, and as bad, right? So as soon as we believe, and most of us do this unconsciously because we are not allowing ourselves to be in more awareness, as soon as we literally believe that I am this story, I am what I experience or experienced, I am this body, and I am also these feelings, it gets like we would bite in something And we are not able anymore to come back and to to create an overview. I always have the picture in my mind. You probably know from me. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I started a professional career with dogs. At the time, I had a canine dog. I was police officer in Zurich, and this beautiful canine dog, Doogie, teach me so much, not only about leadership, the natural leadership between pack animals, which we actually also are, but also so many other things like coming in my center and feeling the true me. And I always have this picture in my mind. You know that, right? When a dog is chasing something and then it it's successful, right? And then it bites the thing, let's say a rabbit or a cat. It can literally not stop to bite. It's so deep in this bit and it's shaking the thing so that it dies. I mean, this is nature, let's face it. And this is the picture I get as soon as I think about our human when we stick with our stories, when we, when we stick with our experiences. Yesterday, I saw a most beautiful reel from a young woman. Very interesting because she has a big influencer status on Instagram, but she changed. The last four or three or four reels are totally the opposite than the other stuff. And now she's teaching. She's teaching about inner work and also Kabbalah and also quantum manifestation. And she just told she would be very certain that no one would have this depression anymore or problems with being unhappy as soon as we allow ourselves to be more aware, to be more in our presence, in our middle, in our moment, in our being. And you probably have that too, like me. I wanted to show you my most intensive trigger for inviting me to be. I just watch this scene here. I see this water. I see the movements in the water. And I'm quickly in my center. And get the invitation to be more aware. And in this moment, I realize I am this soul. I am so much connected to my center and grounded, right? Literally in the energy of Mother Earth, but also connected with my soul, my truth, which is immortal, my nervous system, which is something coming with this body and not with the soul. My nervous system is calming down. And probably you know that from your own experience, the more we do things like that, we are more detached. I remember on a very good discussion with a dear friend. She also lived in this building for only a few weeks with her husband. Last year, I met them here. And I really like to discuss with elderly people, and they were over than 75 or even 80 years old. And I really appreciate to discuss with elderly people also because I can learn so much from their life experience, right? And she especially had this openness since years and decades for the spiritual part and the seeking and the inner leadership part. And you can imagine our discussions were really very, very deep and nourishing. And she once told me that this point of view, which I just told you, to detach and to go back 2 steps instead of biting in the story and creating and nurturing the drama. Just going back, this detachment would be something like, oh my God, I forgot the professional word, dissociation. And I know, I mean, every human in a medical point of view and with this approach of science teaching, they have this idea that dissociation is not healthy. But I want to explain it's not a dissociation. When we allow ourselves to detach from a story and do and bring a certain space between the story and us, we train ourselves to observe. And it's so much easier to do that when we believe on the concept of the soul, the body, and our mind, aka energy, aura, mind, aura. Why? Because we then know we are here as a soul to experience this life with this body. And it's so much easier to accept the thought that we are not this body and not this story. But let's go deeper. Why this is important to believe that? Because I always tell my people and my clients, don't believe something which is not nurturing and helping you. Why should we believe something which is not helping us, right? Why? We are here on a point of a certain authority because we can always choose what we want to believe. And this authority is your uniqueness and is very specific, and only because you believe things because they are helping you, other people, especially the one you love, don't have to believe the same things. That's why I always tell you here in my videos, you don't have to believe me anything. But we can trust that you are here for a reason, that your soul guided you to these videos for a reason. So I invite you to listen and to feel and to think and contemplate about that. So when we realize that not to believe that we are our story, our body, and our feelings, and all the ugly too, but we are here to experience that, it's actually helping us to give us back our true power, to bring us back literally in our center where our true power and our true authority lives. And then we feel more calm, we feel more energized and less triggered from others or other situations. Even less triggered from situations which we cannot control and could cause really, really heavy experiences. And here is the thing, a lot of people, and they are mostly very spiritual, as soon as they ask for their true purpose and their true calling, they unconsciously think that they would be happy the whole life and never experience bad things anymore as soon as they know and live their true purpose. But this is a lie. It's not true. It's not possible. It's not congruent to this belief that we are here as an enlightened and immortal soul in this human body. But as soon as we stick with that and we allow us to trust, to go with that and to trust this is it, we realize to more and more come in our center and our truth. And more, everything gets easier, but not only nice. And yes, yesterday I read something from David Guillaume. I love him so much, and he even doesn't know. He was here last year in Dubai. I had the honor to visit one of these live events with him, and he was actually once standing on my side, right? Only a few centimeters distance. He didn't see me because we were about 600 or 700 people or even more. But I really love his teachings. He's teaching about Kabbalah and personal development, and also coming with that, all this quantum stuff. And we realize, okay, whatever she's teaching here, Chantal, and I got that 20 years ago already from Spirit World, and they told me, tell it to everyone who wants to listen. And now I realize it's actually aligned with also really ancient teachings like Kabbalah. So yesterday he wrote that he got a very surprising and bad feedbacks as soon as he talked about his divorce. And this is actually very sad, right? Because he also wrote, I assume that people mean because I'm a teacher, I am not allowed to be a human being. And I tell you what, I know that from all the hundreds of people I already had the honor to guide to their own soul's truth and to download their true purpose. As soon as we have this idea that we know it now and we go with it now and everything is literally perfect, we only get disappointment, and we literally put ourselves on a specific pedestal because we literally separate us from the others, which from we assume that they don't live their true purpose. And then we think, based on this perfect life, everything must be perfect, and every teacher talking about these things must also be perfect, but we are only struggling. With this approach to ourselves to be perfect, we are only struggling and we are only disappointed because we subconsciously also expect that from others, especially teaching and coaching and mentoring people out there. So I invite you to embrace your imperfectness. I always say to my clients, perfect is as soon as you embrace your imperfect, that you are imperfect. Then it's getting literally perfect, because then we embrace our wholeness, we embrace everything, and we also embrace the hard stuff in this human experience. But we don't stick with being that, and we especially don't allow to think we are only that. This is really the hard part, and I know that from myself, going through hard times, life experiences. In that moment, we are really deep in that, and then we have this risk, let's say risk, to think it's never changing, and we are literally stuck here, and we are that, we are this experience, we are this story. But when we go these 2 steps back and learn and train to observe, we can not only breathe and calm down and guide us from a more divine point, but we also have more energy, we have more hope, we have more trust, because we just know it's going over and it's about the experience. That's why we also learn to feel the feelings, because our soul chooses once, it chooses this experience. And when we want to flee, when we want to run away from it, when we want to ghost the feelings and experience, when we want to delete it or getting rid of it, or guess what happens? We literally attract it again, and we literally attract it worse. Why? Our soul wants to feel it. So when it's coming back and it's worse, it's because the soul is thinking, okay, let's give her more to fulfill the purpose concerning this specific experience. Crazy, right? So when people are telling you out there to go with your intuition and your true self and your soul calling, as me, and they tell you that like me, but they tell you also, with that you are only happy and already successful and getting a lot of money and all the stuff. It's not true. But the truth is, it could be that you get only happy and healthier and more successful and creating more money. It could be, if it's meant for you and this human experience specific in this body. This was actually my biggest learning point, because I had, as one of the first true desires and pulling energies from the future to create a lot of money. And I had to go to so many layers concerning this topic because first I just was ashamed because I was just a daughter of gardeners. I always had to work hard at home. I always had to help and to support my family. And I never had a problem with that. Actually, I love my family and I loved also the experiences we created and helping my family and others. It's a part of my signature here as a Chantal. But I also was conditioned that a lot of money is bad and very rich people have influence with which is bad for others. And a lot of money should shame me. And I had to go through this stuff as soon as I realized that the true desire of mine is to create a lot of money. And this was only one layer. To accept that and to go even deeper and to realize why. Why is it meant for me? And who is me? It's worth a big discussion, right? I want to invite you to follow me in this channel and to explore all these thoughts, to explore all these point of views and angles, and to do that, to discuss it with me. Come in the comments and tell me your thoughts and your experiences. Let's open the discussion. I created a new series, My True Identity, and this is actually the first, how is it called, episode. And next week, I want to go deeper with you with the topic, the three-dimension monopoly, which is our world, this planet, and what of that is illusion. I once had a really beautiful human as a teacher and mentor, and he always told us it's only lies, illusions, and stories. I could stick with the illusion and stories first, but with the other part, I had a hard time. But actually, it is because when we are only stick, you remember the picture with the dog? With the stories, we create drama, which is a compound effect of the raw experience, and it's not helping us. And we create these additional compounding stories, which are the lies then, because we create a compound effect about something which is not true, right? But the truth is, as soon as we detach and train ourselves to observe, then we create the most beautiful, most touching moments with ourselves. And this is what I wish deeply for you. And if you want to learn more about your true self, and if you want to learn how to connect with your soul and to download the specific things and facts about the why you are here, which you are meant to know now, then I invite you to visit my soul calling portal. There I have not only a most beautiful supportive community which is rising and a very touching mission together as spiritual entrepreneurs, but also a classroom which helps you to come in your center and to adapt with your true energy, true essence, which I call soul, and to ask your soul the right questions. You will get exactly those answers which you can manage now to go further with a broader awareness, which is actually the true you and not your story. Please follow this channel to not so that you get an notification about the next video, and make sure to watch the next videos too. Leave a comment and share the video if you think someone else must listen to that. Thank you so much. See you soon to the next one.